Hi guys, I'm going to do a review of the Tele robot that I use, and I love it. It's a great robot. Um, it's inexpensive compared to expensive butterfly robots, for example, which are, I don't know, $2,000-3,000, and when I bought it, it was under $1,000. It can do any spin. It can do slow backspin, high backspin. A lot of robots, the cheap ones, the long backspins are really heavy. This can do anything. It can do any serve. You can do any sequence of shots. Um, it's amazing. Um, Now, it doesn't come with a catcher net, which I think is an advantage because you can set it up anywhere behind the table. So, if you wanted to practice against slow top spin, you can set it below the table because people go right down and flick it up, and you can just reproduce that stroke. It can do so. That's an advantage because it does about 120 balls, and after 120 balls, I need a break because, and then I just use one of these picker uppers, and you can just get 4 or 5 balls at once, one bang, and it only takes them 30 seconds to pick the balls up. And you could put an extension on the plastic to hold 200 balls if you wanted. So I think it's really portable. Comes on just you buy the tripod separately, camera tripod. You can just throw it in your car. It's great robot. I used to have a butterfly one, and I found had these foam pads that wore down a bit. So you had to, after a few months or 6 months, you had to adjust it, and it was inconsistent. This one's got these sort of hard rubber wheels, hard rubber, and they haven't worn in 4 or 5 years. I found really good service. The guy manufactures it. After, I don't know, a few years, it had a ball inconsistency coming out, and he'd actually upgraded the mechanism to put the balls through it, and he sent me the parts for free, and I just used a screwdriver and some instructions, and I replaced the ball feeding mechanism. I haven't had any problems with it. I had a flood in my room, and the transformer was on the floor, got damaged. Just had to replace the transformer. It's a really good robot, and it's inexpensive compared to the competition. Now, I'm not going to set it up and do all sorts of different spins and serves. I'm going to set it up the maximum spin. This is probably double pro level spin. No pro can put this much spin on the ball. So it's just a bit of a gimmick, right? But I'll just show you how much spin it can put on the ball and how difficult it is to get it on the table. So, the other thing is all controlled by an app, phone app. You can set it's all, different sequences. And also the other big advantage, it's got a random function. You can randomize where it goes on the table. You can randomize the spin level on that table, and you can randomize the interval. So it becomes a lot more match-like. So yeah, that's a really important feature of a robot. You just don't want it the same thing. And the other thing is, if you don't have good technique, a robot can make you worse. You need to work with a coach to get good technique and practice against the robot. Make a video, send it to your coach, or he could, if it's there, he can show you. But if you just get a robot thing, it's going to make you a better player, and you've got bad technique. It's so easy to overhit it, bang, because you tighten up, etc., etc. You'll get worse with a robot. So what I use is my coach. I just send him videos of my robot play, just like a minute or two of one stroke. He gives me comments back. Costs me a cup of coffee a week. It's a really good service because this coach is world class. Go to ttedge.com, join. You can send these little videos to him and get really first class advice. And he's really up to date. Like last year, he spent a lot of time in the practice halls of the pro, watching Ma Long, all the pros play. He was coaching a pro player, so he was really up to date with what the pros are doing now. And a lot of coaches teach techniques that maybe 5 years, 10 years out of date. And techniques always changing and getting better and better. So here we go. I'm going to set this up. I'm going to use an old bat because this spin wrecks rubbers. It actually wrecks rubbers. And just show you what this robot can do. This is totally unrealistic. You can see the spin is so insane, you just can't get on the table. Now this bat's got pimples. I'll try and get it on the table with pimples. Yes! I actually got it on the table with pimples. I've set this up for, had a coach who was a pro, it used to be a pro. He had the same problem. He could get maybe 110 on the table. And the disadvantage of doing this, if you can see the ball, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a blue mark. It's actually taking paint off the table because it's so spinny, and put it on the ball. And you can't see it the bat, but where the balls are hitting the bat, it's actually just starting to destroy the rubber because it's so spinny. It hits a bang. So it's totally unrealistic, but this shows you what this robot can do, and it's sort of fun to try and get the ball on the table. You can set it maybe it's about 10,000 revs, maybe set it 5,000 revs, which is probably the maximum spin a pro could do, maybe. And you set a pro level spin serve, and really try and get it back. It's difficult. So I highly recommend robot. Good customer service. The disadvantage is the guy who makes it lives in Ukraine. Last time I spoke to him, his town was being bombed by Russia. So I'm not sure the availability of the robot at the moment, but highly recommended. And yeah, if you want a robot, this is one of the best, and it's inexpensive. Enjoy.